Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving straight into something truly fascinating. We're going to explore the ketogenic diet, but we are absolutely not doing it from the perspective of some trendy fitness magazine. Instead, we're looking at this through a highly structured clinical lens to understand the exact mechanics of what happens when you drastically change your body's preferred fuel source.
Just think about this powerful realization for a second. What if we could make a difference in the kitchen long before someone ever needs to come to the ER? You see, true preventative medicine doesn't actually start with a prescription pad. It starts with the food we eat every single day.
And that realization comes from someone with serious clinical authority. 27. That is the number of years our source for today's explainer, an ER and ICU nurse, has spent managing chaos, crisis, and care. After nearly 3 decades of fixing heart attacks, strokes, and major metabolic breakdowns at the very end of the line, they realized that the absolute most important medical interventions happen right in our own homes. Okay, let's dive into this. Here is our roadmap for today. 1. The clinical kitchen. 2. Redefining the diet. 3. Mastering keto fiber. 4. Surviving the keto flu. And 5. Risks and red flags.
First up, Section 1, the clinical kitchen, stocking your metabolic laboratory.
You really have to reframe the room where you prepare your meals. Think of it like an actual laboratory where you get to control all the chemical inputs. To swap a standard carb crash for genuine metabolic stability, you need the right foundational staples. Eggs, for example, aren't just for breakfast. They are literally the gold standard for your fat-to-protein ratio. Avocados bring high fiber and essential potassium. Cauliflower acts as a brilliant versatile chemical swap for starchy rice or mash. And spices like turmeric, they act as powerful anti-inflammatories for your body's recovery.
Moving right along to Section 2, redefining the diet, the mechanics of ketosis. To understand the actual mechanics of ketosis, we've got to challenge some preconceived notions. The cultural meaning of the word diet has totally been hijacked by the weight loss industry, right? We usually think of it as a temporary, highly restrictive phase. But biologically speaking, the true definition comes from the ancient Greek word dieta, which simply means a way of life. Every single person already has a diet, whether it's perfectly measured macros or daily fast food. So yes, keto involves restriction, but fundamentally, whatever habitual way you eat is your diet. Now, the ketogenic diet does have a very strict mathematical reality to it. The National Institutes of Health recommends that a massive 75% of your calories come from fat, 15% from protein, and only 10% from carbohydrates. This isn't just some arbitrary rule. It is the exact mathematical formula required to flip the biological switch in your body from burning glucose to burning fat and ketones for energy. So to make that math work without feeling like you're starving yourself, you absolutely must understand this concept: net carbs. You calculate this simply by subtracting your total fiber from your total carbohydrates. This is exactly how you avoid extreme restriction. Take an avocado, for instance. It actually has high total carbs, but because it is packed with fiber, its net carb count is incredibly low, making it perfectly keto-friendly. This leads us perfectly into Section 3, mastering keto fiber, feeding the microbiome. This is an absolutely critical and honestly a very often overlooked role in maintaining a balanced keto protocol. Why does this matter so much? Well, human bodies can't actually digest fiber, but our gut bacteria, they absolutely rely on it. When you eat fiber, your gut bugs go to work turning it into short-chain fatty acids like butyrate. This process is completely essential. It feeds your colon cells, supports your immune system, stabilizes your mood, and physically prevents those dreaded afternoon energy crashes. Now, because fiber intake naturally drops when you cut out grains, a huge issue for beginners is keto constipation. But there's an immediate, actionable 2-step fix for this. Step 1, hydrate. Water allows soluble fiber to form a gel that slows digestion. Step 2, add different fiber types. You need insoluble fiber from things like leafy greens to physically bulk up the stool. It's a beautifully simple clinical fix to a very common biological problem. Okay, Section 4, surviving the keto flu, navigating the transition. If you've ever tried keto and felt like absolute garbage, let me tell you, your struggles are entirely biologically valid. As your body depletes its stored water, you lose fluids and vital minerals really rapidly at first. But the good news? Every single dreaded symptom has a rapid food-based fix. Got a headache? Sip some salt water or bone broth. Dealing with muscle cramps? Boost your magnesium with nuts and seeds. Food is literally the medicine here.
And those quick fixes translate into exact daily clinical targets to cure that keto flu, the irritability, and the brain fog. You need to hit these numbers to restore your electrolyte balance. We're talking 3,000 to 5,000 milligrams of sodium, 3,000 to 4,700 milligrams of potassium, which you can get from spinach and avocados, and 300 to 500 milligrams of magnesium. Once these targets are met, the biological transition smooths right out.
Finally, Section 5, Risks and Red Flags, Long-Term Realities and Medical Warnings. Now, we need to shift gears and take a serious, impartial look at the clinical risks. Let's start with non-compliant foods. You might think fruit is always a completely safe bet. Actually, scratch that. Things like bananas and grapes have an incredibly high sugar-to-fiber ratio that halts fat burning right in its tracks. Potatoes break down into glucose way too quickly. And pasta? That's pure starch, and it will knock you out of ketosis instantly. But beyond just getting kicked out of ketosis, we really have to objectively look at the stark, long-term clinical risks of maintaining this diet. Because of higher urine acidity, kidney stones are a real threat. Processing massive amounts of saturated fat can elevate your bad LDL cholesterol and strain your liver, potentially leading to hepatic steatosis. There is even a known risk of osteopenia, which is bone density loss. This is exactly why swapping some of those heavy saturated fats for olive oil and taking a daily multivitamin is pretty much non-negotiable for your long-term health. And we must firmly state that for certain individuals, this diet isn't just risky, it's extremely dangerous. If you have diabetes and are on insulin or oral medications, you face a severe risk of diabetic ketoacidosis, which can be fatal. It is also completely unsafe for anyone with pre-existing organ failure or rare genetic metabolic disorders. Which brings us right back to the core advice from our source in the ER. Food is a chemical we put into our bodies. You should never undertake this kind of massive metabolic shift without strict medical supervision. Always consult your doctor first, because your existing medications will absolutely need adjusting. So, as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a thought-provoking question. What is one small change you can make this week to support your health? You now understand the clinical mechanics, the benefits, and the genuine medical risks of the clinical kitchen. How are you going to use this knowledge to take a single practical step forward today? Thanks so much for learning with us.